We're making 3 easy faux leather Cricut projects using the Dollar Tree faux leather. Starting with this red color faux leather, we are making a braided bracelet, and I cut this down to fit my Cricut Joy cutting mat. Here's my project green, and you'll see in a second what happens if your mat is not sticky enough. I purposely left this in so you could learn from my mistakes. So I used some painter's tape around the edges of the faux leather just to keep it in place. But if you make this with your Cricut, just be sure to use a fresh mat. And if you place the faux leather face side down, that should avoid any movement, which you'll see in a second. I did end up cutting the other 2 projects on my maker because I didn't have another Cricut Joy mat on hand. But you can cut all 3 of these projects with the Cricut Joy, and these will all be linked in the description below. So I'll have all the links to my Design Space projects linked. You could also cut these by hand. This is nothing difficult to do, so I'll leave the dimensions if you're interested in doing that as well. So here's what I had to end up doing, just freehand cutting a little bit of it, but the other pieces worked out just fine. So this bracelet comes together quickly. I just used hot glue to glue the long rectangle strip pieces back to back, making sure the strip edges were all aligned. I did have to cut off some excess because of the movement, but once they were all glued, I took the 3 strips and wove them together to form a braid. And you'll want to keep the strips from twisting over. You want to keep them straight the way they're facing, and the bracelet will naturally start to curve. Now, I sized this to fit my 7-inch wrist, so you can adjust the length of the pieces before cutting if needed. But once we're at the end of the braid, we'll just use that square piece that we cut out to secure those ends, again with the hot glue. I did also go back and adjust the project to add a second square, and I put one on the other side just for symmetry. So here are our 2 ends, and to finish this off, I added some snaps, which I had on hand. You can decide if you want to use another type of closure, but this is what I had. And this is from a kit that I got at Hobby Lobby. They're very easy to apply, as you can see here. So I did 2 snaps on each side so they come together. And this is our faux leather bracelet. If you have a sewing machine, you could really make this look more polished, but I don't really mind the raw edges. So let me know what you think of this one in the comments. For the next project, we're using white faux leather, and we again have 2 identical pieces that will glue back to back, but I wanted to try using infusible ink on this since it's polyester. So I have my mini heat press and some leopard print infusible ink sheets. You could also cut the infusible ink sheet in this shape, which is included in the project. I have 3 of them, but all I had were these scraps that happened to be just enough for this project. So I removed the plastic backing before placing the design face down onto the right side of the faux leather. I kept it in place with some heat tape and covered with butcher paper that comes with the infusible ink. After a bunch of tests on a scrap piece of leather, I found that the high heat setting was best, and I pressed with no pressure. I'm just holding the heat press in place here for about 15 seconds. Then I went back and forth a few more seconds before letting it cool slightly and removing the infusible ink sheet. And how cute is this? I'll definitely be trying out more infusible ink with this faux leather. So once I had the two sides printed with the infusible ink, to finish this off, I went ahead and glued those two pieces back to back. And this is going to be a wristlet key fob type of thing with the key ring on it. So I just glued these pieces back to back. And again, I used those snaps to make it close. Added one to each end. And then I added this key ring. I got this pack of 3 from Walmart. They're around $1 or $2 for this pack of 3. So once I had that all in place, I just wanted to keep that strap closed at the part where it goes onto the key ring. So I just used some thread and stitched one long stitch over and over just to secure it in place. And here is the final look. Now this last one is not my favorite, but I thought I'd still share it. I cut 2 pieces of blue faux leather, and this is just a square shape that is sliced diagonally. I added some Dollar Tree metallic iron-on vinyl saying keep my place, because this is going to be a corner bookmark. I'll have the cut and heat press settings in the description for you, but I just press this on and remove the plastic backing, and you can see that it pressed really well. Now you could just glue the 2 straight edges of this triangle and just be done here, but I decided to add a decorative edge, and I used some thread to do a blanket stitch. Now I'm not a pro sewer, so I did what I could. And here is how it turned out. Not perfect, but still functional. Now if I were to do this again, I might add a full square on the back. So I'll go ahead and add that to the Design Space project just to give you another option. So here's the final look at the bookmark, and here's a closer look at our 3 faux leather projects using the Dollar Tree faux leather. Comment and let me know which was your favorite, and if you'll try any of these for yourself. And if you missed my last faux leather video, go ahead and watch the video on the screen next. I'll see you in the next one.